Everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Donner Hush C guitar. Now this guitar is like no other because it's a nylon string and it's headless. So I haven't seen any guitars like this, and it's actually got some incredible features that we're going to be taking a look at in this video. Now I'm going to go through all the features on this guitar and we're going to do some sound tests. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is how portable this guitar actually is. Now this guitar comes in a nice little case and it fits perfectly within this case. This case also fits everything that you need with this guitar to be ready to perform and record. You don't have to get anything except for the 9-volt battery. Now this is what the guitar looks like in the bag because you can't fit the armrest or the leg rest on the guitar inside the bag. So now let's install the armrest here. Now the way that works is you put the pin in the hole over here, and then you go to the second one and line it up, pull this little lever, and then press down, and then it's actually secured and it's actually not going anywhere. Now you do the same thing with the leg rest, and then put it in place, lift this little metal piece, and then it's actually perfectly secured. Now let's take a look at some of the features. Now, the first thing I want to point out also is actually the neck size. So the neck size is actually very much like a classical guitar. It's kind of like between a classical and an electric, but they really got the string spacing perfectly. For a classical guitar player, you want the string spacing to be a little wider because classical guitar strings are a little bit more soft and flimsy, so it's a little bit harder to be accurate if they're too close together. So they really thought about everything when it comes to nylon string playing. And it doesn't matter if you play classical or other styles. Usually nylon string guitars will have a wider string spacing, so this is really important. Now the neck is a 20 fret neck. The neck feels super smooth, super slick. It's kind of a black sparkly finish on it. And the guitar is actually built of wood, so it does feel very solid. Weight of this guitar is actually super light as well. You can be in the classical positioning and be quite comfortable as well. So overall, this guitar really feels nice for classical playing and other styles as well. Now in terms of sound, this guitar actually is super quiet when you're unplugged. So that's about as loud as it gets when you're unplugged. So that's perfect for practicing when you can't plug in and you can't be loud. So if you want to just practice and you don't want to be heard, that's perfect. You can also plug in your headphones and then have it louder within your headphones, or you can just take the 1/4 inch and then do some recording and you won't be heard by anyone. That's kind of like why they call it the Hush. So that is one of the features that is super important with this guitar, something very useful that a lot of people would want. Now, another feature that is kind of cool with this guitar is that it's headless, and we have the tuners over here on this side. So that's kind of like very futuristic as well. And one thing that they actually give you here is a little Allen key, and it's a little magnetic piece over here in the back of the guitar. And you actually place it on the tuner and you tune it very accurately. So these tuners, they're super smooth, they're super easy to tune, and they're very accurate as well. The strings stay in tune. Now in terms of tuning, this guitar is intonated very well as also. So it's intonated across the board. They really thought of the tuning on this guitar, and you're not going to be playing out of tune, so this guitar is very dialed in. Often guitars that are on the lower price range, the intonation isn't going to be accurate, but the intonation on this guitar is quite accurate. Now when it comes to nylon strings, it takes a little bit longer to tune them when they're new because they just don't settle as quickly as steel strings do, so you do have to wait a little while. Now in terms of sound, what we're dealing with is a piezo pickup. So when you're plugging in, you're going to have a piezo pickup sound. Now a piezo pickup doesn't give you a pure classical sound, but it gives you a very powerful nylon string sound. And a lot of players will use piezo pickups in their guitars, like Polyphia and a lot of other players that are very advanced. And one of the main features that piezo pickups offer is that you don't get any feedback when you're playing. So when you're playing live and you want to crank up your guitar, be loud, you're not going to get any feedback. Now, if you're a classical player and you're using a mic, let's say, you're not going to be able to play with a band. You're not going to be able to be super loud. You'd have to have a professional sound engineer to make sure that you don't have any feedback. Now, if you don't have that, the piezo pickup is the next best thing. You're not going to get any feedback with this guitar. So that is a fantastic feature. And one of the most important features. If you're planning on playing this guitar with a band or live, that's probably your best bet, is to use piezo. Now, in terms of the onboard settings, we have a volume, we have a tuner built in as well. We have a low and a high EQ setting. We actually have the headphone jack over here. We have a 1/4-inch jack that's ready to go. This guitar needs a 9-volt battery as well, so you're going to need that to power up the guitar. The guitar has strap pins, strap pin over here on the neck, and then a strap pin right over here with the 1/4-inch jack, so you can play standing up with this guitar no problem. This guitar also has a truss rod adjustment, which is super easy to adjust. Now, speaking of action, this guitar is a little bit high in terms of action for me. So what I would have to do is adjust more of the truss rod, but you can also file down the saddle on this guitar because they give you a lot of room here. It's not right down to the bridge. So there's a lot of room to lower the action on this guitar. And that's what I would have to do in terms of pure comfort for the guitar. I would have to have lower action. I really thought of every feature that a guitar player would need. So now that I've gone through the features of this guitar, I'm going to go through some sound tests, and we're going to see how this guitar sounds when it's plugged into a studio. So you're going to get to hear the piezo pickup sound, and we're going to see the playability of this guitar and see if it actually performs accurately, if it stays in tune. So this next part of the video, I'm going to be testing out this guitar and seeing how it sounds. So I hope you enjoy it. So these are my final thoughts on the guitar. So in terms of the build overall, it's a super strong build. There's nothing cheap about this guitar. They've really thought about every feature to make sure that there's nothing lacking, you know, there's nothing left behind. So that's how I feel when I play this guitar. And in terms of the action, that's something that I would have to adjust. That's just one of the little bit of a downfall, is that I couldn't get the action low enough. I'm going to have to sand down the saddle. So that is one thing, one little feature. So that is one little honest thing that I wanted to mention. And if you like low action, then you may need to do a little bit further adjustments. But other than that, it's really, really dialed in, and it's very possible to get that lower action. Now, in terms of all the features, they're actually very dialed in. You know, the tuning, the guitar stays in tune, the intonation is perfect, the feel of the neck, the feel of the guitar is perfect. So everything is really, really dialed in. So I would definitely recommend this guitar because the price point is also very, very good as well. Now, the price that you're paying and the quality that you're getting, I would say that there's no other really guitar like this for that price and for the quality that you're getting. So that's why there's no really other guitar like this one specifically. And I would definitely recommend this guitar if it's something that you're looking for. A nylon string that can plug in, no feedback, lots of volume, and very portable and easy to carry around. So I would definitely recommend this guitar to beginners, up to professionals. If you're looking for a nylon string that can plug in with no feedback, it's ready to go for live performances, this is definitely the guitar to go with. And you can play classical, you can play a ton of styles on this guitar, and it's ready to go, it's dialed in. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.